All right, hello once again. Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD Application and Website Development program, and in particular the AWD1111 .NET Framework with Web Databases course, I have decided to go through a series of 12 articles from DotNetOdyessy that is entitled ASP.NET MVC5 Free Course. So far I've gone through all of chapters 1, 2, and 3, all of chapters 4, 5, and 6, all of chapters 7, 8, and 9, all of chapter 10, and I'm smack dab in the middle of chapter 11, where we're discussing server-side and client-side validation techniques in ASP.NET MVC applications. So I left off on updating the database. It says you need to tell the entity framework to update the database as per the last changes. All right, it says here update database is the command that you'll want to use. But when I run the command, I get the following error. It says that if you do the database migration, it will result in data loss. So let's see if indeed that happens. I may not get an error because of the problems that I've had running this. Red means error. There you go. And again, I think it's all because of this doggone thing with repos right there. Boy, oh boy, I wish I wouldn't have done that. So even after I go back and quote fix this, unquote, I might still get an error is what I'm saying. All right, it says this one, the error that they came up with here says if you do the database migrations, it will result in data loss because of the change in the title column length. All right, so there's options. The option that they chose is to set the automatic migration data loss property to true, meaning even if there is a data loss, do it anyway. All right, so we could come back here and put this in. We're still, I believe, in fact, I would put money on it, we're still going to get an error. This should succeed. Sometimes, as you can see, this takes a while. I know I hit enter, but I'll hit it again. Okay. It says it's not recognized as something. So in other words, that probably at least is something that was available in earlier versions, but not the one we're using. So if we run update database again, I'm not going to. It should automatically change the size. Again, I am very, very, very much looking forward to doing this with the class. And hopefully, once we do it with the class, any kind of errors like this that we've been coming up with are going to be rectified. Put it that way. All right. So the controller class, as it says, has something that says if model state is valid. What that will do is that will look through every single field in the form where you're attempting to either update or you're attempting to add or you're attempting to delete data and make sure that everything you're trying to do is valid. If it is valid, it allows you to save the entered data to the database. Otherwise, it'll show you an error message, and that's what they're talking about here. Once you enter into the database, if it works, all right, you go and you just return this. If by chance the model state was not valid, you go here. All right, and the author says you have to make one more change. You have to tell the view to show error messages. The HTML.validation message 4 is the HTML helper method that can be used to do this. They show it right here and here. So it says the complete Razor code is attached below. Well, I'm going to grab that code. Copy. And I'm going to come in, and I believe that will be under the add.cshtml. I can close this now. All right. And let's see. So that should be all of the stuff, div, class, equal, form, group, from here to here. But again, what I'm going to do, just to be sure, is to comment that out, come back in here, hit enter, paste that in. Hopefully I don't have any errors in here. All right. Okay. Now run the application to give some invalid values. Again, don't think this is going to work. All right, but we're going to try it anyway. So, File, Save All. Let's go to our Add method here, and let's view it in the browser. All right. We don't even have a button here now that I'm looking at it. So we wouldn't be able to put that stuff in anyway. That's pretty doggone interesting. Wow. We do not have the Add Movie button in there. But ideally, if we did, and we did things like, oh, let me get that down, sorry about this. Put a year that was out of date, we'd get our error message. If we left out either field, we'd get an error message. So the author says here, when you enter values in the expected range, the data would be saved to the database. It says, everything seems to be fine, but there is a little problem here. Why do we need to go for server if the user did not enter any value for title or year? We can find out at the client end without going back to the server. And that's, again, where you'd use client-side validation. When you do that, you typically turn this on. All right, we know what Jquery is. It's a JavaScript library. But by turning on Jquery unobtrusive validation, it's basically telling it that what you want to do is you want to end up validating on the client side first. Again, no idea whether or not that'll work. Kind of thought it would, to be honest with you, and it did. All right, we're doing client-side stuff there, not server-side, so I could see that working. said before installing, it looks like this. After installing, it looks like this. The key things are jQuery validate. All right. You need to enable client validation and unobtrusive JavaScript in your web config file. It says in your root folder like below. So in other words, I need to grab that, copy it to the clipboard, go back in here. The one at the root folder is the one at the bottom. So you know that. There's my app settings. All right, you can see what's there. You can already see that unobtrusive JavaScript enabled the value is true. Let's take a look at what we had. All right. So we've got web pages version value 3.0.0.0 correct. Web pages enabled value equal false correct. Client validation value equal true correct. Unobtrusive JavaScript enabled value equal true correct. So mine have already been set accordingly, correctly. Was it like that to begin with? Not sure, because unfortunately I never checked it out at the beginning just to double check that. And it says add the respective JavaScript files to your layout. All right, so that it can make use of that validation. Copy. So we want to put these in our layout.cshtml file. And that would be something that you would want to put, all right. It may or may not matter exactly where you put them. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put them right here. I'm going to hit enter a couple times, put them right there. Now, what's important when we do this, let me get rid of this, and this, and this. All right? As we go through and we do this, I'm going to move, well, I can't. I'm going to move this stuff over here, though. All right. Jquery, that'll be under our content folder. Nope, it'll be under our scripts folder. I apologize. So it's Jquery 1.10.min.js. Good, I've got it. Bootstrap min.js. Good, I've got it. Validate min.js. Good, I've got it. Validate unobtrusive min.js. So I do have all those. You really should always go check that stuff before you go and just throw it in someplace. All right. I'd like to finish this one right now. It says now run the application, submit the form without entering any values, and the stuff should go on the client side. Good. That's exactly what we want to have happen. Again, I'm not sure what happened to our Add Movie button. Okay. And just finished with Chapter 11, or the second last lesson, so we will come back and look at updating and deleting data in just a moment.